this as an unlisted live stream, meaning that right now there's nobody listening. I've set it to unlisted, and as soon as I set it to public, it'll post, but that's why you're not seeing comments come in once you watch this. But it's a really fast way for me to get a video to you guys. So anyway, with that being said, I wanted to talk to you about my favorite part of being recovered, and I want to just give some context. So a lot of people, whenever they're suffering with anxiety, panic attacks, depersonalization, realization, health anxiety, existential OCD, all this stuff, they have it in their mind that on the other side of these symptoms is this perfect, amazing life. Man, if I could just get rid of these symptoms, my whole world would just be perfect and amazing. And the reason why they think that is because whenever you feel abnormal and you feel miserable, feeling normal appears to be the most amazing, incredible thing. But I've seen this happening for 6 years working with people, eliminating these symptoms. Once you get on the other side of these symptoms and you get over that initial excitement over being recovered, which, does happen for a few months, eventually normal just becomes normal again. And normal includes bills, it includes rejection, it includes trials, tribulations, it includes betrayal sometimes, it includes battling against human nature, which is inherently lazy, it includes being let down, it includes, just challenges with people and life and all these things. And I hear this very regularly from my clients once I help them overcome symptoms. They're like, man, I'm symptom free now, but I realize I've got a lot of work to do. And they realize that really what recovery is it's a clean slate. Recovery is the beginning of your transformation. Okay? It's not the end. Whenever you're in symptoms, you think, that's it. Once I get over symptoms, my life is going to be 100% great. But it's really just the beginning. I always tell my clients, it's like a blank canvas. Once you are over these symptoms, you are now free to choose the life that you want to live. And so what do I spend my day focused on now? Because I don't have any symptoms, I don't have to sit around and focus on trying to get rid of them or managing them or anything like that. I focus on my goals, daily habits that I do every day, staying hydrated, eating really healthy, exercise. I've started to work out a lot more recently. So just give it some time. Okay. No judgment. No, I'm still pretty tiny, but I'm working on changing that. But I work on helping my clients. I work on doing videos for you guys. I work on making sure that I'm spending enough time with my wife and my kids, which is the best part of my life. I am able to focus on specific things for that day. So I've got daily things that I do every single day, habits and disciplines, but then I've got stuff that is specific for that day. Like today, I've got to call our trash company and we need an extra trash receptacle because we go through a lot of trash. I got a house with a lot of people in it. We're a family of 5, and we have a 2-year-old terrorist, and she is the cutest thing that you've ever seen, but she's in that phase where if you can turn it or twist it or pull it or pour water or just pull stuff apart, she's discovering how stuff works, which is adorable on one hand, but she literally just destroys the whole house. And so, and then also, we go through a lot of trash. So just to give an example, that's just for today. But I'm also working on increasing in financial literacy. I think that's a very good skill set that we all need. I want to make sure that I'm commenting on you guys' comments a lot more. I've been working on that lately. Every day for me is a mission to be the best that I can be. And it's awesome. Do I still go through rejection and betrayal? Do I still get disappointed? Do I still have emotions sometimes? Do I still have days that I just want to lay in bed because I'm so sore from, the day before? Let's say I did a lot of workouts or whatever, which lately, because I'm getting into it heavy now, I have been very sore. And so, am I still going to have days that I get bad news and have to deal with that? Yeah. Like, life happens. Like, getting rid of your symptoms does not mean that life doesn't stop being life, but it means that you are positioned to handle the challenges of life. It's like life is already very, very difficult. I always tell people life is warfare. It is warfare. And if you don't go on the attack, you don't go on the offense, meaning that you're proactively making yourself as healthy as possible, bettering yourself as much as possible, getting strategies for how to overcome challenges, life is going to literally knock you down. And that was me. That was one reason that I was stuck in symptoms, is because I was living in defense of the challenges of life. And it's because nobody ever taught me how to go on the offense. And that's not me playing the victim. It's not me deflecting blame. Ultimately, I had to make these things happen. But it would have helped if I was taught these things. And that's not me. I mean, I love my parents. I honor my parents. But they were too busy dealing with their own stuff that they didn't have much time to really impart to me a lot of things. They did impart some amazing things, don't get me wrong. Music being one of them. My dad taught me music. And my mom just demonstrated just an incredible unconditional love. But as far as like nutrition and the importance of staying hydrated, having boundaries, and 10,000 other things, unfortunately, I just didn't get taught that. So I've had to learn those things myself. And so I'm really far behind. And that's one reason why I'm spending so much time making sure that my children know the importance of hydration. They understand habit theory. They understand the importance of discipline. They understand boundaries. They understand time management. They understand, the basic principles even of business, right? That's important. Maybe they go into the working world. Maybe they want to start their own business. But like, I wasn't taught how to do business stuff. And whenever I got into this, I almost lost this for the first several years because I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted to help people. And I realized like, hey, I've got to acquire that skill or else this thing isn't going to work, right? It takes a lot of money to be able to pay my team and pay my bills to be able to do this. But anyway, I'm trying to change the generational patterns. And that's one of the beautiful things about you overcoming this, just to give you some motivation to actually deal with these symptoms, is some of you are caught up in a generational cycle. Like my mom had health anxiety for 20 plus years. I think it was over 30. And there's so many other generational things that I have had to deal with because and I'm not saying this to create any shame. I'm just acknowledging reality because they didn't deal with them. I had to deal with them. And for those of you who have kids, especially, I want you to think, or maybe you're wanting to have kids, I want you to think this is an opportunity for you to change the generational cycles. Let's get you as calm, as healthy as possible. Rewire your nervous system so your kids don't have to deal with this. And all of a sudden, it can become the generational norm to listen to your body, to stay hydrated, to eat right, to exercise, to get enough sunlight exposure, to listen to your body and not muscle your way through, to make sure you're relaxing enough, to make sure you're getting enough sleep, to make sure that you face your emotions. That's a big one too that I help my clients with. Do you know how many people suppress their emotions because either they absorbed it from watching their caregivers suppress their own emotions, or they were directly taught to suppress their emotions? And emotions are experienced in the form of physical sensations in the body. And you guys hear me talk about the body-based approach. That's one of the things that I do with my clients is we first need to do a lot of body relaxation to get their body out of survival mode. They need a lot of co-regulation as well. And then eventually they'll start to feel their emotions again. And it's hard for them to face them because they've wired themselves to run from them. But I teach them to face and embrace them. Let them peak, get to max intensity, and come down. And this was a while ago, but I had a situation where I cried in front of my kids, and I could have not cried in front of them. I could have stuffed it down. I don't cry very much. I really don't. But I do cry sometimes. It's pretty infrequent, But I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity for them to see that even their dad cries, right? Because I don't want them to feel shame for their emotions. And I'm teaching them releasing your emotions in a safe way is strength. It's not weakness. So anyway, what I'm saying is that, to summarize this and end the video, rewiring your nervous system is hard. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time. But you can do it. But I don't want you to think that on the other side of you getting rid of these symptoms of anxiety, panic, DPDR, all these symptoms that you guys hear me talk about, that suddenly your life is perfect. It's not. But you don't want it to be perfect. You want to know why? Because dopamine is released whenever there's the expectation of a reward, right? Do you know how many people have spent their whole lives trying to get that perfect house, trying to get that perfect job, trying to get the perfect spouse and the perfect this, the perfect car, all that stuff, and then they get it, and they end up being absolutely depressed and miserable because they didn't understand how our survival brain works. It's the pursuit of things that brings the joy, not the attainment. And so I'm not, like, I do have long-term goals that I'm trying to get to 10 years from now, 15 years, 20 years from now. I've got even, that's long-term goals. I've got short-term goals as well, for sure. But because I understand how dopamine works, I'm more focused on constantly having things that I'm pursuing rather than having a few big things that I'm trying to attain one day. And as soon as I get done accomplishing one thing, I'm like, okay, let's get, at any given time, I've got like 15 to 20 different things, sometimes more, that I'm running after. And so my brain is always full of dopamine, which is one of the feel-good brain chemicals. It's also the motivation chemical. Also, we need oxytocin, serotonin, which serotonin, by the way, most of that is produced from your gut. That's why you need to eat healthy, right? One of the feel-good brain chemicals that'll make you feel really great is mostly derived from what you're eating, right? And then, of course, oxytocin comes from love. If you want these chemicals, there are certain prerequisites for that. But specifically dopamine, you got to be chasing after stuff. This is how people get addicted to slot machines. You pull the lever, it represents a chance that you'll get a reward. You'll get all the cherries in alignment or whatever, right? This is how, in fact, I'm going to be vulnerable with you. I just broke an email addiction. I have gotten to where I don't watch social media too much anymore. And I can't really say that I'm addicted to anything anymore, which is awesome because I definitely had addictions in the past. But I would scroll my email and I'd do the refresh thing, and it represented a chance that I'd get an email that was important or something like that. And I was doing it a lot during the day. And I finally decided I'm deleting my email app and I'm going to only check my email on my computer. And it's been awesome. But it's like that represented a chance that I'll get a reward. But anyway, so that's a bad example of dopamine. But whenever you're reading books, personal development books, whenever you're working on fitness and nutrition and your relationships and your career and having a bunch of positive habits, and you're just chasing after positive things, not only are you getting the benefit of those positive things, but you're getting the dopamine from pursuing to attain a certain level of success with those things. So that is what my day looks like. It's not spectacular. It's just me running after stuff. How good of a husband can I be today? How good of a father can I be today? How healthy can I? Every day I'm working on my diet. I have now learned that food is, I would say probably sleep and nutrition are two things that in your life, that if those things are messed up, it doesn't matter how healthy you are with everything else. Also hydration. Now, of course, that doesn't mean sunlight exposure or vitamin D is not important. That doesn't mean social connection isn't important. Doesn't mean that body relaxation and many other things are not important, of course. But I'm talking I started to have some severe health issues. And I'm not ready to talk about it. It was very difficult for me, okay? I ate horribly for years. Sometimes I'd eat healthy, but ultimately I was ordering fast food and all that stuff, and eventually it caught up with me. And I started to have insulin resistance and reactive hypoglycemia, and it was one of the most difficult seasons of my entire life. and I had to get my diet right. I was forced to. But now that I've gotten it right, I feel the best that I've ever felt. I was already feeling good before, but I mean, except for at the beginning, whenever this started to happen and I didn't know what was going on, it was bad. But I now feel the best that I've ever felt. And I literally can feel the difference in my body if I were, now I don't eat any unhealthy food anymore, believe it or not. I have to eat 100% healthy because of this reactive hypoglycemia, and I feel like it is healing. I really do. And I don't want to get into that. That's a whole nother video. I think I'm going to also write a book about my experience, because it's reactive hypoglycemia is extremely misunderstood, missed by most people. You really got to check your blood sugars 1 to 2 hours after you eat to even catch it. And so anyway, I don't want to get off on that spiel because I'll talk for 5 hours, but food is very important. Okay. You are what you eat. And we have, especially in America, we have an epidemic of unhealthy food, and it is creating all kinds of sickness and disease, early death, depression, all kinds of issues. Okay. Eat healthy, even if it's only 80% healthy, right? I think you should be 100%, but even if it's just 80% healthy, right? By the way, different diets for different people, but paleo and keto, and some people carnivore. I can't do the carnivore. I tried it. I didn't feel good on it. But for me, I pretty much do paleo. I'm starting to get towards keto. I feel the best I've ever felt. And I do a little bit of intermittent fasting, which saved my freaking life, by the way. Who would have thought that delaying when you eat, because it gives our body a chance to burn off some glucose, could be a game changer. I don't eat until about 11 to noon every day. I don't eat breakfast. Anyway, that's a whole nother video. Again, I'm super passionate about nutrition right now, so if I get talking about it, it's going to be the whole video. But anyway, guys, food is really important. Sleep is important. All these things are important. But once you get yourself to where you're feeling good, generally speaking, doesn't mean that you don't got to work on your marriage. Doesn't mean that you don't got to work on being a better father or mother. Doesn't mean you don't got to work at excelling in your career. Doesn't mean you got to work on some addictions that came in whenever you're feeling terrible. Doesn't mean you don't got to work on time management and habits and boundaries and nutrition. Doesn't mean life isn't going to throw you curveballs and rejection and pain and suffering. It just means that now you're actually positioned to handle those things. Like if life is warfare, then, you know, it's like, imagine if you're tied up on the ground and there's a battle going on. That's like the symptoms. Whenever you're experiencing symptoms, you're immobilized. You can't even think. You can't even freaking wake up without your brain being like, oh, here goes another freaking day. And you just want to go back to sleep. You're so busy wrestling with the symptoms that you can't even begin to paint the canvas of your life. And so that is why I am thankful for the symptoms, because they forced me to be positioned to reign in life. Now, I had to make it happen, and I'm making it happen every day, and I haven't achieved perfection, and I never will. And I mess up every day in some way. But I am now positioned for the greatest chance of tapping into my potential, being there for my family, helping you guys, and it's awesome. So anyway, there's a little spiel about symptoms. My wife's leaving. Anyway, I got to go. Talk to you guys soon.